Hey class, this is the lecture video of chapter 11, Designing with Type. We basically talk about 4 topics. First, how to use pencil to create some shapes or objects or paths, as you may want to call it. Secondly, we're going to talk about how to use pen tool to create some basic shapes. And then the third topic is how to use the tap on path tool, a tool that is very useful when you create some very creative text formats. And then lastly, we're going to talk about how to use Pathfinder. Again, a very useful tool to create some creative tags and objects in design. So let's look at how to use pencil tool first. Again, we're going to launch InDesign. From here, I'm pressing Command N to create a new document. You already know the differences of checking on facing page and checking off the facing page. And here, I do not want to use the facing page, so I would just use the single page. Looking at the tool panel, you will see that there is a mouse tool here. If you put the triangle here, you will see there's a pencil tool. So this is the pencil tool. You can use the pencil tool easily create all kinds of shapes. This is the shape or object or path. This is the path. This is the path. And again, if you press Shift and drag, it doesn't influence the pencil. So pencil is a tool that you can freely create all kinds of shapes. Now this is the pencil shape. A shape or a path can be an open path. Those lines, they are not closed, so they are called open paths. Those two, this one and this one, the starting point and the ending point joined together, so those two are called closed paths. For the paths, you can give them an effect, like you can give it a drop shadow. You can give a color and a style to the stroke. So this is the color for the stroke. And then give a different color to the fill. Of course, you can also increase the stroke if you would like to do that. So that's about pencil tool. Pencil tool, it's very easy to use it. You just click on it and then drag whatever shape you would like to draw. This is pencil tool. So put your cursor here on the triangle, choose pencil tool. Pencil tool is slightly different than pen tool. This is the pen tool, I'm sorry. This is slightly different than the pencil tool. With the pencil tool, you can draw freely whatever shape you want to draw. But with a pen tool, if you click here, and then you click here, you draw a straight line. And then if you click another place, you draw another straight line. Click again, draw another straight line. Draw another straight line, straight line, straight line. And if you go back to here, when you see a circle close to the pen, and you click again, you make a closed path. Of course, you can also give a drop shadow, a color. This again is the filled color. And you can also give a color to the stroke and enclose the stroke, the weight of the stroke. So that's how to use a pen tool to draw straight lines. You just click the pen tool and then click here, click, just click, then it will draw straight lines. Now if you want to use the pen tool to draw curvy lines, you have to draw it this way. Click here, don't release your mouse, and then drag. Notice this is not the line, this is the handle. So you drag it, you see nothing over there. Actually this is again only the handle, but this is the starting point. And then you click here, that's a starting point. Don't release your mouse, and then you can drag, manipulate the handle, and then manipulate the shape of that line. So if we put it this way, and this is the shape that we have, we can increase the weight and give it a color. So that's the shape of the line. See again, you can again manipulate the handle to change the shape of that line. And if you want to create a multi-curvy line, you can click the pen tool again, starting point, ending point, drag it, give it a color, increase the stroke so that we can see the shape of this path clearly, and continue to click, click and drag. When you click, you have to do not release your mouse and then drag it. And then if you want to go back to here and make it close the path. Again, this is the shape of this path, and when you give it a color of fill, you will see the fill is quite interesting. It goes this way. Of course, you can use pen tool to create straight line and curvy line together. So let's create it. Click here, here. Those are straight lines, and then curvy lines, and then curvy lines, and then curvy lines, curvy lines. Close it. So let's give it a color so that we can see, and that's the fill color. Let's give it a stroke color. Increase the stroke so that we can see the shape of the stroke. So those covers two topics that we want to discuss today. First, how to use pencil tool to create shapes. Those shapes are created by the pencil tool. And how to use, secondly, how to use the pen tool to create shapes. Those shapes are created by the pen tool. Remember, the key of using pen tool to create a curvy line is you click somewhere, don't release your mouse, drag the handlebar, and then click the ending point, don't release your mouse, and then drag the handlebar to manipulate the handlebar and further manipulate the shape of the curvy line. Third thing we want to talk about is how to use tap on path tool. Before we talk about that, let me add one more thing. This is the tab tool. for all of those closed shapes, if you click the tab tool, click within the closed path, you can actually convert the closed path into a text frame and then tap something here. Now when you feel that the text is too close to the text frame, you can press Command B, give it a inside. Normally 5 point is fine, so we have some inset so that the text is not too close to the stroke. You can also convert this one into a text frame if you want. Again, you can add an inset here. If you have a stroke, normally when you have a text and you have a stroke, you need to have a inset, and 5 point normally is a good value. All of those closed passes, you can convert it into a text frame. But also one more thing, when you convert the text frame, the closed path into a text frame, let's see if you want to give a drop shadow or other effects to the text frame. Notice here that drop shadow actually is a drop shadow of the text, not actually like the drop shadow here. And why is that? Because here there's no fill color for the text frame. So whenever you add a drop shadow, it will be the drop shadow of those texts. If you want to add a drop shadow to the overall shape, then you have to select the text frame and give it a fill color. So activate the fill, give it any color, and then the drop shadow will become the drop shadow of the overall text frame. Let's say you say, I don't want the yellow color for the text frame. I don't want any color for the text frame, but I still want the drop shadow. You can choose the paper color. The paper color is considered as a color, but the color is just the same as the document, so nobody can see it. And that's a little trick that you may want to use. Now let's talk about the Tap on Paths tool. Look at, there's a little triangle underneath the Tap tool. Click it, you will see there's another tool here, which is called Tap on a Path tool. Select it, find a path, any path, like this one, or this one, or this one, or even this one, or even the line. It can be an opened path or a closed path. So just select the Tap on Path tool and move close to the path. When you see a small plus sign, you can click. And then you're ready to tap. So this is a little try of the Tap on Path tool. And you will see the text actually go with the path. Let's make it larger so that they can see it. And you will notice that there are two brackets, kind of like a bracket here. One is for the beginning, one is for the ending. This one probably is for the ending. So drag it and move it close to the end of this sentence. And let's say if you say, I don't want the text to be on this side of the path, I want it to be the other side of the path. You can look at the beginning point and the ending point. In the middle, there's a small bar. When you put your cursor close to that small bar, you will see a little sign with a small bar. Drag that small bar and drag it to the other side. Then the text will go to the other side of the path. Double-click the Tap on the Path tool. You will have a dialog box here. This will allow you to choose whether or not you want a rainbow effect, a skew effect, a 3D ribbon effect, a stair step effect, a cavity effect. So it's your choice. Normally we choose rainbow effect. You can align the text on the baseline, which means it will be very close to the path, or center, which means the text can go to lower, or descender, or ascender. So that's all your choice. From here, normally we do choose the baseline. You can also put the path on the center or the bottom or the top. It will help you to nuancely align or position the tab on the path. So that is the Tap on the Path tool. And notice that you can do the Tap on the Path tool with any of those tabs here. The passes here, I'm sorry. And like if you can tap here, this is an interesting path. If you want to make it bigger, select it, press Shift Command greater than tool. You can make the tab bigger. And notice again the ending bracket and the beginning bracket, normally they're together, so you need to move it. Move the ending bracket. Well, I guess that's the beginning bracket. Actually, we move the beginning bracket. This is the ending bracket, so move the ending bracket close to the end. Here it is. Where is the central bar? Here it is. So if you want to point to the other side, you just move this thing. Of course, if you want to adjust the position of the tab, click here, call out this thing, and you can choose wherever you want to position the text. So if you look at the textbook on page 292, it created an interesting text. Let's see how we can create here. Let's do it on another page. What they have done is actually they create a circle, and then create an oval, and then they have the Tap on Path tool, create some text here. Give a blue color to those texts. And give a red color to those texts. give more text, and then you see there's a stroke here. So what the textbook did is that they also select the paths and make sure that the strokes are 0. That way you only see the text, you do not see the strokes. I don't think we need this. So make sure it's 0, not 2, 0. Okay, now if you preview it, you only see the text goes this way, you do not see the strokes, and that's something really beautiful. So now we've talked about how to use a pencil tool to create open pencil tool and pen tool to create open and closed paths. We also talk about how to use the tap on the path tool to tap on the passes. Lastly, let's see how we can use the Pathfinder to create something that is beautiful. Before we talk about that, let's use the tap on the path tool to create a ribbon that is shown in page 295 of the textbook. So let's work on the ribbon first. We need to use the pen tool to drag this way, and then ending point drag this way. So now we have a line. Clearly this is a open path, and let's tap on something here. We need to use the tap on path tool. Tap. This is a path shape you will often use. Make it bigger. Here's the ending. So let's move it to the middle. And put it in the center. I think that's fine. Here, let's also put it in the center. And call out the stroke. Give it a blue color. And give the stroke a weight. Okay, I think that weight. That's fun. We also need to we need to give the text a feel of paper. So that's what we have here. And then we can give it a drop shadow. This is exactly what we have in the page 296 of the textbook. And now let's look at how we can use Pathfinder to create something that is beautiful. Let's move this ribbon to the top here. Create a buttered popcorn as the textbook has done. So it's called a buttered popcorn. Select it. Press Shift Command greater than to make it bigger. Select it and give it a blue color. Now, notice that all the effects can be also used on the text. So let's say if we want to give a drop shadow of the text, we can actually do that. We select the text. Yeah, we don't need to select the text. Let's select the text frame, and here you can choose whether or not you want the effects to be on the object, to be on the stroke, to be on the fill, or to be on the text. Let's see, we select text, and then we give it a drop shadow. This drop shadow will just go to the text. You can also give it a other effects. Let's say we want to give it a pillow emboss. You see, you can give the effects to the text. But the thing is that you can give all the effects to the text. However, the text will always be together. You can't separate the B from the other of the text, or separate the T from the other of the text. If you want to do that, then you have to do one thing first. That is to make the text into objects. So let's copy this thing here and erase all the effects. Here, if you click this, it will clear all the effects. So before we give effects to the text, let's select the text frame and go to tab, edit, see where it is. Need to find the create outlines, this thing. So choose, you can also press Shift Command O, and that way now see you can't select the single letters because it's turned into a object. Let's make it larger. And now if you see, you select the direct selection tool, you can tell that the letters are turning into objects and consist of small parts. And now if you use the direct selection tool, you can select a little part of the text and delete it actually. So now we actually delete this dot. You can, nothing here, but you can still delete something here. And if you want, you can also delete this part, I'm sure. Make sure you just select that part, and all the other parts should be hollow. Let's keep that part. So we can also go to the glyph, and then we can recall that a glyph is always a text, so you need to have to create a text frame first and then insert the glyph. So we have a glyph here, make it larger. Press, turn it into a outlet also. And give it a blue color, or you can give it a red color if you feel that's even more beautiful. And here, see if we can find any glyph to fill this part. Maybe well, maybe just let's say this. If you want, you can also turn it into a outline. But notice that when you turn into a outline, you can still not break the letters as we said before. So you need to have to do one thing, select the text frame, and then go to here, path, release compound path. And notice when you release the compound path, those letters become like this. So now we have to find out the pathfinder. Pathfinder is in objects and layout. If it's not on your panel area, you can click this and select the pathfinder. This is the pathfinder panel. And then select any letter like this, choose subtract, and make it looks like a B. We need to do the same thing for the E, same thing for the other E, D, this part of the P, there's something wrong here, let me see. There's something wrong with this part of the, but let's see if we can work on this part. Okay, this is okay. P, we only have a problem here. We may need to take time to figure out what's wrong with this part. Maybe we accidentally move it or something like that. So okay, it may take time to figure out why, but let's see. We put it this way, and then now we can actually move the letters. We can rotate it, move it, and move this upper, put this lower, and rotate this one. Maybe you can want to change the color of this one, so it allows you to work on individual letters. And that's the tricks of Pathfinder. A little bit more words about Pathfinder. Notice that when you open the Pathfinder, here you will notice that there are a lot of functions here, and there are actually 5 of them. So let's take a look at how those 5 functions of Pathfinders work in a different way. Let's move this. Oh, we can create a new page. And let's say we created 2 objects. Let's create a star first. Give it a, yeah, it has a red color already. Let's give it a different color stroke. That's a blue stroke. Make it slightly larger so that we can see it. And then let's create a circle. Give it a different color, say blue. Well, let's say red stroke, blue fill, and also we can give it a 5-point stroke. So this is how this circle looks like. Put those two together and make a copy. So we select both, press Option, move it. That way we can make a copy here. So let's put the two like this, and then select both of them and Pathfinder, and this is add. So we add those two together, and now notice the star becomes part of the circle. And then they take the color of the circle as the overall color. And if you move the star to the front, move the star to the front, and select both of them, add. They take the same shape, but they just use the color of the star. So they just use add means you add two shapes together, and they just take the color of the front object as the overall color. Let's copy more so that we can try every function here. So now let's select those two and subtract. So subtract means you just subtract the stuff that's not. Subtract means you subtract the front from the back. So that's how it looks like when you subtract it. We can also do a let's move those two together and select it. That way when you subtract it, hold on, we can't do it. See if we make this star smaller, and we move the star to the middle. This way we still can't subtract it, so let's bring this thing to the big circle to the background. Send it to the background, to the back. Put the star on the top, and now let's subtract. So we subtract the star from the circle, and we have a star in the middle. And if you look at it, it's very interesting that you have a star like this. It's transparent. Isn't that beautiful? So this is what you can create with subtract. You subtract the front object from the back object, and then you have intersect. It only keep the intercept. So this is the overlap area. This one is exclude overlap. So the overlap part is excluded in this case. And notice the hull is also transparent right now. Bring to the front. Notice the hull is also transparent. The last function of Pathfinder is manage back. So you just use the front object to manage the back object. It's kind of like different from the subtract. That means if you put the star to the back of the circle, you can actually manage back and create a hole like this. So those are the 5 functions of the Pathfinder. You can also play with the convert shape. So if you select this one, convert it into triangle, convert it into other shapes, and you have the options here. Or you can convert the points or something like that. So that we can play with this. The Pathfinder is a very useful tool when you want to create some logos. And I think it's really something fun to play with. Hopefully you can enjoy it. Thank you very much. Bye bye.